It was 4 months until the wedding. We'd picked out the invitations, the ones with the embossed gold edges that Riley insisted on. The caterer had our deposit for pulled pork sliders and craft beer flights, her idea of blending Southern charm with our Colorado roots. We lived in Denver, in a loft overlooking the Rockies, and she'd already mapped out our honeymoon to the Florida Keys. We'd talked about kids, too. Theo for a boy, after my grandfather, Mia for a girl, because she loved how it sounded soft and strong at once. Her laugh filled our place every night, and I thought that was our future. Solid, unbreakable. But cracks show up quiet, like frost on a window you don't notice until it's spiderwebbed everywhere. The message came from Landon. He was one of Riley's old coworkers from her marketing firm days, the kind of guy who showed up to happy hours with stories that made everyone lean in. We'd hung out at Broncos games and backyard cookouts, but we weren't tight. His text was blunt. "Dude, call me. Serious." No emojis, no build-up. I was at work, scrolling through emails in my cubicle at the tech startup when it popped up. My gut twisted, but I dialed him anyway. "Meet me at Washington Park after work," he said, voice low like he was checking over his shoulder. "Can't do this over the phone." I got there as the sun dipped, turning the lake orange. Joggers looped the paths, dogs tugged leashes, but I felt isolated, like the world had muted itself. Landon showed up in gym clothes, sweat still drying on his forehead. He didn't waste time on hellos. "I saw something last weekend," he said, pulling out his phone. "At that conference in Boulder she went to." Riley had told me it was a networking thing, all panels and PowerPoints. She'd come back with stories about breakout sessions and free swag. But Landon's video showed different. There she was, in a hotel bar, leaning into some guy in a button-down, his arm around her waist. She laughed at something he said. Then they kissed, deep, unhurried, like it wasn't the first time. He swiped to another clip. Them heading to the elevators, her hand in his back pocket. My mouth went dry. "Who is he?" I managed. Landon shrugged. "Some exec from a rival firm. Name's Garrett. I overheard them talking like they knew each other from before." He paused. "She saw me later, begged me not to say anything, said it was a one-off, stress from wedding planning." I handed the phone back, my hand steady but my mind reeling. Anger simmered, but it was the betrayal that hit hardest, like she'd rewritten our story without telling me. I thanked Landon, walked away without another word. That night, Riley came home humming, dropping her bag by the door. "Missed you," she said, kissing my cheek. I nodded, forced a smile, but inside, everything shifted. I didn't confront her right away. I needed proof, space to process. The next day, I called in sick and drove to a cabin in the foothills we'd rented once for a weekend getaway. It was off-season, empty, just pines and silence. I replayed the video in my head, pieced together clues, late nights at work, text she deleted quickly. By evening, I knew I couldn't go back. I packed what I could from home while she was out. Clothes, my old guitar, important papers. Left the shared stuff, the photos on the wall staring back like accusations. No note. Just gone. Her calls started that night. "Babe, where are you? Dinner's ready." Then worry. "Are you okay? Call me back." I checked into a motel off I-70, the kind with neon signs and thin walls. Ignored the buzzing phone, stared at the ceiling fan spinning lazy circles. The second day, her tone sharpened. "This isn't funny. If you're mad about something, talk to me." Voicemails piled up, each one a mix of plea and edge. I powered off the phone, hiked a trail nearby, let the altitude burn my lungs clean. On the third day, I turned it on for emails. She called immediately. I answered, voice flat. "Riley." She exhaled like she'd been holding her breath. "Oh God, Ethan, where are you? I've been freaking out." I didn't dodge. "I know about Boulder, about Garrett." Silence stretched, then she whispered, "It's not what you think." "Don't," I cut in. "I saw the video." She rushed words. "I was tipsy. It meant nothing. We can fix this." You lied, I said, every day since. She cried then, sobs echoing through the line. Please come home. I love you. I hung up, blocked her number temporarily. But she didn't stop. Emails came next, long ones detailing her regret, promising therapy, anything to reel me back. A week in, her brother showed up at my office. Travis, built like a linebacker from his college football days, loomed in the lobby. We need to chat, he said, jaw set. I led him to the parking lot, away from prying eyes. She's falling apart, he started. Won't leave the house. I crossed my arms. She brought this on. He stepped closer. Look, man, engagements have rough patches. You gonna throw it all away over one slip? Slip, I echoed. She planned it, hid it. His face hardened. Family's invested. The venue in Aspen, the band, it's all non-refundable. I laughed bitterly. So I'm supposed to marry a cheater to save money? He poked my chest. You're acting like a punk. Fix this or regret it. I didn't back down. Tell her to move on. He stormed off, tires squealing. 2 days later, her best friend Mia texted, Meet me, neutral ground. We met at a coffee shop in Lodo. She slid into the booth, eyes red-rimmed. She didn't tell anyone, Mia said. But I found out. She's sorry, Ethan. I sipped black coffee. Sorry doesn't erase it. Mia leaned in. Give her a chance. She's talking about hurting herself. That punched me, but I held firm. She needs help, not me. Mia left frustrated. Then the parents got involved. Riley's mom, Evelyn, called from their home in Texas. Ethan, honey, come to dinner. Let's sort this. I declined. Her dad, Mark, emailed. Son, real men forgive. Don't make us enemies. I ignored it. But they flew up, showed up at the motel. Evelyn knocked, tears streaming. Please, she's our baby. Mark stood behind, arms folded. We've spent thousands. You owe us an explanation. She cheated, I said plainly. Evelyn gasped. Mark's face reddened. Prove it. I showed the video on my phone. They watched in silence, then Evelyn whispered, Oh, Riley. Mark exploded. This is bullshit. You're ruining her life. I shut the door. The threats escalated. Travis texted, Watch your back. Anonymous calls at night. I changed motels, got a lawyer friend to advise. I hired a proper attorney, Nora, sharp as a tack. She dug in. No legal basis without a contract. But Riley pushed, claiming emotional harm. Court date set. In the meantime, she stalked my socials, left comments on old posts. Miss you. I blocked her everywhere. The hearing was in a drab Denver courtroom. Riley sat with her parents, composed but pale. Her lawyer argued abandonment, financial loss. Nora countered, Your Honor, my client discovered infidelity. She presented emails I'd forwarded, Riley admitting the affair in one desperate plea. Then a statement from Landon corroborating. Riley broke down on the stand. It was a mistake, she sobbed. The judge wasn't swayed. No enforceable agreement here. Case dismissed. Riley's family fumed. Outside, Mark cornered me. You'll pay for this. Evelyn pulled him away. That night, alone in my new apartment, I felt the weight lift. No more shadows. Landon texted, You good? We met for beers. Thanks for the heads up, I said. He nodded. Had to. Weeks blurred into a rhythm I hadn't known I needed. A small studio in Capitol Hill, second-hand furniture, the hum of city buses outside my window. I took up trail running at dawn, lungs burning up the switchbacks of red rocks, sweat washing the last traces of her out of my skin. Work promoted me. Senior dev lead, more money, more hours. I filled the empty evenings with code and craft IPAs at local breweries. Landon became a regular. We'd catch Nuggets games, argue over fantasy football, never once mentioning her name. It was peace, hard-won and fragile. Then the postcard arrived. No return address, just a glossy shot of the Florida Keys at sunset. On the back, in Riley's looping handwriting, "I still see us here. I'm trying to be better. Please." I stared at it for 10 minutes, then dropped it into the trash unopened. The next day, another came. Same beach, different angle. I started therapy. It's ugly, but it's real. I stopped checking the mail slot for a while. One Thursday, I came home to find Travis parked outside my building, leaning against his lifted Silverado like he owned the block. He unfolded his arms when he saw me. "5 minutes," he called. I kept walking. He jogged to catch up. "Ethan, man, hear me out." I unlocked the lobby door. "No." He wedged his boot in before it closed. "She's in the hospital." That stopped me. "What?" He exhaled. "Took a handful of pills. Not enough to kill her, but enough to scare the hell out of Mom. She's in psych hold at Porter Adventist." I felt the old ache flicker, but it was dull, like a bruise months healed. "I'm sorry," I said, "but that's not my mess to clean." Travis's shoulders sagged. "She keeps asking for you." I shook my head. "Tell her to ask her therapist." I thought that was the end. It wasn't. 2 nights later, my doorbell rang at 11:47 p.m. I opened it to Evelyn, mascara streaked, clutching a manila envelope. "Please," she whispered, "just read this." Inside were medical records, intake forms, suicide risk assessment, Riley's scrawled note to the doctor. I ruined the only good thing I had. Evelyn's voice cracked. "She won't eat, won't speak to us. The doctors say she needs closure." I handed the envelope back. "Closure isn't my signature on a forgiveness form." Evelyn's chin trembled. "We'll drop the appeal if you visit. One time." I closed the door softly, locked it, leaned against it until I heard her heels fade down the hallway. The appeal was real. They'd refiled, claiming promissory estoppel, whatever the hell that meant. Nora laughed when I forwarded the paperwork. "They're desperate. Judge already ruled once." Still, the court date loomed like a storm cloud. I started seeing someone. Claire, a graphic designer I met at a mutual friend's art walk. She had freckles across her nose and a laugh that didn't need permission. We kept it light. Coffee, concerts at the Ogden, late-night tacos from that truck on Colfax. I told her everything on date 3. She listened without flinching, then said, "You're allowed to be whole again." It felt like absolution I hadn't asked for. The morning of the second hearing, I wore the same gray suit, tie knotted tight. The courtroom smelled of lemon polish and anxiety. Riley was there this time, gaunt, hair pulled back severely, eyes fixed on the table. She didn't look up when I entered. Her parents flanked her like bodyguards. The judge, a different one, younger, sharper, skimmed the new filing. "Counsel, you're aware this claim was already dismissed?" Riley's attorney, a slick guy in pinstripes, cleared his throat. "Your Honor, new evidence of emotional duress and financial reliance." Nora stood. "Permission to approach with counter-evidence?" The judge waved her forward. She laid down a thick folder. Text messages from plaintiff to defendant post-separation, including threats of self-harm to manipulate reconciliation. Hospital records confirmed the overdose occurred after defendant refused contact. This isn't duress, it's coercion. Riley finally looked at me. Her eyes were bloodshot, pleading. I met them without warmth. The judge flipped pages, frowned. "Miss Morgan, you're under oath. Did you threaten self-harm to force Mr. Hayes's return?" Riley's voice was a rasp. I was desperate," the gallery murmured. Her mother gripped her hand so hard the knuckles blanched. "Case dismissed with prejudice," the judge snapped. "And Miss Morgan, I'm ordering a psychological evaluation before any further filings. Court adjourned." The gavel cracked like a starting gun. In the hallway, chaos. Evelyn wailed. Mark shouted at the attorney. Riley stood frozen until Travis guided her toward the elevators. She paused in front of me. "Ethan." I stepped around her. Claire was waiting by the courthouse steps, holding 2 paper cups of coffee. She handed me one. "You okay?" I nodded. "Getting there." That night, Claire stayed over. We didn't talk about the day. We ordered Thai, watched the Nuggets lose in overtime, fell asleep tangled in sheets that smelled like her citrus shampoo. At 3:12 a.m., my phone buzzed on the nightstand. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. "Ethan." Riley's voice, small and far away. "They let me have one call." I sat up. Claire stirred but didn't wake. "How'd you get this number?" A pause. "Doesn't matter. I needed to say I'm sorry. Not the rehearsed kind. The real kind. I lied to everyone, especially myself. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to hear it from me, not lawyers or my parents." Silence stretched. "Okay," I said. "I heard you." Another pause. "Goodbye, Ethan." The line went dead. I stared at the ceiling until dawn. When Claire woke, I told her. She traced circles on my back. "What do you feel?" I thought about it. "Relief," I said, like the last knot just came undone. 3 months later, Landon forwarded a group chat screenshot. Riley had moved to Austin, started nursing school, cut contact with her parents. No drama, no posts begging for attention. Just gone. I archived the message without replying. Claire and I took a weekend in Estes Park. We hiked to Emerald Lake, boots crunching on early snow. At the water's edge, she pulled a small box from her pocket, a key to her place. "No pressure," she said. "Just whenever you're ready." I kissed her, tasting pine and possibility. That night, back in Denver, I opened the trash drawer where I'd stashed the postcards. I tore them in half, let the pieces flutter into the bin. The Rockies loomed outside my window, steady and indifferent. For the first time, I didn't feel like I was running from anything. I was just walking forward.